last night I had one of those weird moments where I was very paranoid about my future. Like, I have a general idea of what I want to do in my life, but I just don't have that yet, right? So I'm just laying in bed freaking out because what if, like many other things in my life, I don't want to do this anymore, do this stuff anymore. I hate this feeling of overthinking about everything I can't be certain of. I've never been somebody to just do nothing though. There's always something I can do or work on or start. It's just the way I measure my own success. I'm just worried if I'll ever see that in my lifetime. Success is subjective to everybody. It's just my version of it is specific to me individually, hence why it's subjective. For example, to my life, success is not only financial stability, but at the same time to be able to help people. That's my version of it. That's what makes me feel successful, right? Or at least how I would like that to be. I've been able to financially take care of myself for nearly the past 10 years or so, but I wouldn't say I'm rich. I wouldn't say like I'm able to go to the dealership and just buy a car or just get a nice condo somewhere nice, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay. I still want to take the EMT classes and hopefully one day be a paramedic as well. Take those classes for that as well. I just haven't pushed myself to do so. I've been off my medication for a while now, so I'm trying to balance myself mentally before I start adding more stuff to my life. And I wonder what's everything going to be like at the end of my life. I wonder, because do you guys also think about what you're going to be remembered as? Like, I used to ask myself this a lot, and I worried how much people actually depend on me to where it actually matters. And the answer is always not really anybody. Truth be told, nobody really depends on me in this life, at least in my life, besides my dogs, right? Who I take care of. My mom told me something last month. She was like, she needs me. She texted me that. And I was confused by like why she said that. So if you guys don't recall, my family doesn't really have a good relationship with my father. I've explained why several times. Simply put, he doesn't understand boundaries and he's very stubborn about his traditions to the point where it inflicts stress and frustration to everyone else in the family. So I haven't seen my father in like 3 months because he's somewhere in South America on a farm or something. And I have his number blocked. I blocked him on WhatsApp first, and then I blocked him on the regular phone service. I just can't stand him. My mom also can't stand him either. So when she said that to me, that she needs me, she was explaining that to my mom, I'm the only one in the family who is really with her right now. So when I asked myself the question again about what are you going to be remembered as, I feel like besides my mom and the dogs, I don't really see myself leaving an everlasting impact in the way I would like to do it. I feel like, God forbid, if I were to die tomorrow, there would be many people who I know who would be upset and saddened, right? But eventually, you're going to move on like everyone else who dies. Even though I may have left a positive, permanent impact on certain people, for some reason, I'm just not satisfied with it. If whoever's watching, if you were to think about that with your life, what would you say? Would you say if you were to pass away, like whoever's watching, if you were to pass away right now, what would you be remembered as? And would people find an everlasting mark with your existence besides your family, for example? But should that be all that matters, that you left an impact on your family? You know what I'm saying? Like, see, it depends on the person. I'm telling you what my version of success is to my life, right? Now, when people think about leaving a mark, they may think about fame, right? I don't think about it like that. Not everything needs to be visible to the world. I'm thinking about achievements or contributions to something where memories can live on forever. Your work will be left behind. A lot of things we do, does it truly get left behind, or is it just a moment that passes? I feel like in moments where I felt like I'm not sure what I want to do with my life anymore, it was always when whatever I was doing was on autopilot and I wasn't leaving anything that could be remembered. That has been a pattern I've noticed with other people as well, where the people who always say that they don't know what to do with their life, they're stuck in limbo, right? They're just living life day by day. It's almost like a lack of direction. And honestly, that feeling is very unsatisfying and it could be very frustrating. Then once you enter that day by day autopilot cycle, it's hard to break out of it because forming new habits is not that easy psychologically. It may even cause you to have this feeling that life is meaningless because your life is stuck in this cycle. Meanwhile, other people found ambitions. But to you, Is there even a point? Sometimes when you're in that limbo state, I think one thing that we sometimes do is wait for something external to fix this cycle. Like we're in a cycle, but we're hoping something just happens to change our life, right? It's not like we have to do anything about it. It just happens, right? We're just happen to get lucky. Just waiting for that day to happen. And this is an expectation we're hoping for rather than taking steps towards something better. When we're in a place of not being sure what to do with our lives, it's hard to find purpose. But sometimes certain actions, like breaking out of your shell, will make you see life in a different light. So going back to what I was thinking about last night, I'm sure some of you guys can relate to that feeling of being worried about what you're going to end up. You're worried about that. You might end up hitting a dead end, right? Worst case, you hit a dead end and you're just trapped there. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to have this feeling, because if you really think about it, if you have anxiety over this, right? Like if you have anxiety over hitting a dead end or not seeing growth in your life or not reaching your goals or not knowing what to do, it's probably because you have a hidden desire for growth and purpose. Like you have something inside of you that wants more fulfillment. So I don't think it's a bad idea. It's just a bad feeling necessarily. It's just a rough feeling when you get anxious about it. And then when you're in a position where you do feel trapped, you're losing control over your future. At the end of the day, it's worth understanding that change really starts at home. So you can't really expect to sit there and wait for things to happen. I always had a theory that if I were to ever become a father, I think it would be inevitable that there would be a time where my son or daughter would also feel the same way that I'm talking about in this episode, where they're like, I'm kind of lost in life. And my theory to solve this has always been the idea that you have to look at what's around you before you look at the world. What do I mean by this? I mean, when you're scared of the future and you feel stuck, a lot of it comes from an inner ambition. But a lot of times our inner ambition can be stagnated because of what we surround ourselves with or the things we consume. The amount of times I felt like I got stuck in life is when I was the most negative. Like I was consuming negative stuff on social media, or the people I was hanging around weren't kind and encouraging. And don't get it twisted, because a lot of people, they do this or they take it this way. Just because someone disagrees with you or challenges your thoughts, it doesn't mean they're not encouraging you, they don't support you, or they're mean to you, right? But when you find yourself in a depressing situation because you're thinking about things that negatively affect you, you're gonna freeze up. A lot of us like to think that our problems will be solved in very simple ways, but I tend to disagree. I feel like you gotta fix yourself and put yourself in a better position before you can see change in the world. This past week, for example, I've kind of been just sleeping and playing Baldur's Gate 3 with a friend. I haven't really been too productive besides going for a jog every morning, but that's routine for me. It's autopilot. Like it doesn't require effort for me to go up and go for a jog anymore. I've just done it so much. It's just, I'm just going to do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like going to the bathroom, just do it, but usually before I was gaming with my friend, I was always doing something extra. I was coding a lot more. I was reading a lot more. I was studying a lot more. I was doing a lot more uniquely productive things with my life. But now I'm just playing a game and sleeping. That's how the past week has been for me, at least. There's nothing special going on with my life right now. I feel very slowed down, kind of bored of life. I usually upload a video every other day, right? Last week, I skipped a day. I don't know if y'all noticed. I just didn't upload for an extra day. Truth be told, I've just been lazy. This is what happens when you consume junk. I'm just sitting there playing a game all day with my friend and just doing nothing otherwise. And you know why nothing special is going on? Because I'm not taking any actions to make it special. So is it of no surprise I'm laying in bed last night thinking like, dang, I don't know about my future. I'm just going day by day. And it's interesting because when I'm actually the most productive and I'm not gaming, right, or sleeping the whole day, I feel the most happy. A lot more things happen in my life that make it more exciting. I feel more confident. And this stuff isn't just easily flipped with the switch. It's always the small things that I do that end up changing how productive I am. So going back to being a father, right? I would remind my child that if you're not keeping yourself occupied with productive activities and you're living day by day, you're going to end up feeling in limbo. Now, what I would do if I had a child, I would always sign my child up for recreational activity or something. Like, yo, I'll sign you up for a baseball team. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe you could take a dance class or something. If it's listen, I'm not saying, my son can't do dance class. I'm talking about my daughter here. If I had a daughter, but you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Hey, I don't think it's zesty. But listen, if you trash at baseball or dancing, it's okay. You'll learn a lot dealing with other people, especially in sports, right? Or group activities. It's a simple fear of the unknown. Life is very overwhelming. Unfortunately, people start life on different difficulties, and it remains on those difficulties. And at the same time, some people make it harder for themselves, right? Some people just make life more difficult than it needs to be for themselves. Some people don't realize it, but some others do. When I got my face tattoos, I knew the consequences, but I didn't. But you think I didn't hesitate, or I haven't hesitated about certain things because I made my life harder by doing that? Yeah, I know tattoos are more accepted nowadays, but hey, listen, I've had my tattoos for nearly a decade. I sort of just learned how to maneuver through life with ink on my face. I made life harder for myself. And I also make life harder for myself through other things too. I'm a very emotional person. I try my best to control it. I could be very extra with stuff, and it has hurt me. And it has hurt relationships and friendships I've been in too. So here I go, making my life harder. And that's the thing for anyone watching or listening. Oftentimes, a lot of unfortunate things in our life is simply because of what we're doing or how we're approaching it mentally. It's easy to say, if you don't like your life or don't know what to do with it, just change it, right? It's very easy to say that. But we have to be realistic and understand that there will always be good and bad times. It's not about just removing hardships, because that's part of life, hardships. Expecting anyone to transform effortlessly is ridiculous. It requires a lot of patience. If we try to remove things that make us uncomfortable, which is one of the main reasons why we get stuck and not being sure what to do with our life, like we don't go out and try different things and we keep ourselves inside of a shell, we start missing out on the good and bad things that life has to offer. The experiences. And dealing with those experiences make you more mature, insightful, and you start to really look at life with a stronger appreciation. Life can't be perfect, and nobody's ever going to have all the answers. You're going to have moments of being stumped. It's just when those moments happen, like some of you may be experiencing right now, or like how I'm saying, like, I'm sort of like experiencing a bit of a limbo right now. You got to start eliminating some of the brain dead activities. Yo, once I'm done playing Baldur's Gate 3 with my friend, I'm probably just going to uninstall the game. Like, we're not going to play another game or anything like that. Like, we're not going to hop on a new game, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sorry, bro. Like, we just not gaming anymore, bro. Like, I have Sims 4 footage, like the Sims 4 footage in the background. Yo, I recorded this like late September, early October, okay? I haven't even played the game since October, like early October, because I know how I get. Once I start gaming, I get lazy and addicted, and then my life just goes by. It's like, bro, nothing exciting is happening besides me glued to a game and doing things day by day. I hope this makes sense. It's just my perspective on it. If I were to be a parent, this is how I would approach it with somebody else to make them understand this. If this was something they were going through, of course. I should just take my own advice as well, because, I was the one also thinking about this last night. This episode is found on Spotify and YouTube. Times Square.
Nightmare 7 a.m. in the morning though. No surprise. Times Square's you and I under those lights. No disguise. Don't tell me everything you wanted was a lie. All those city lights, it's an endless night. Never expected you to bring me so much life. Close my eyes too long, then it's time to say goodbye. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Let's dance all night until the stars don't show glow. Till the sunrise, then we go solo. Making up for all the times that we were low. Let's make some memories before we do go. Caution. Wait a moment, keep my heart locked away, it's filled with emotion. Gave the key to you, right in front of you is open. Hey, try your best to not leave it broken. Oh, it's been a while since you know it's frozen.